1996. This is the first one, Lots. Okay, you have Joe Sakic and the Colorado Avalanche against
who beat
Sidney
who?
Crosby and the 2017 Penguins. I want you to break down this hypothetical, imaginary, mythical meeting between these two teams. Not these two players, these two teams.
All right. Well, I hope Sid's not watching right now, because I'm going to give it to the 96 Avs. And why would I say that? That whole era was like the era of super teams. It was before the salary cap era, just for clarity, so you could really go out and gobble up future Hall of Fame players. Sakic, Forsberg, you see him right there. Claude Lemieux was dynamic.
18 goals.
Former teammate. Patrick Roy, I mean, come on. That was incredible. But they had elements that I don't believe Sid's team had. And that was really all the way up and down the lineup. The depth that they had, the leadership from Joe Sakic. Sakic and Forsberg, we could certainly say, Crosby and Malkin. And I'd be okay with that. But it was the rest of the construction of that team that I would give the edge to the Avs. Much deeper, in my opinion.
It was a special era of teams. You're right about that. And Sakic was a special player.
It was the last super era of teams.
Won the Conn Smythe.
Super teams. I like to call them.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I mean,
Jersey, Colorado, Detroit.
You want to make arguments for the 2017 Pens. They did have some great runs. Like Matt Murray was terrific.
He was awesome.
He was awesome. But you're comparing Patrick Roy with a cup-clinching shutout.
And to be fair, I mean, obviously the first three guys are well established into their careers, but Jake Guentzel and Matt Murray are still just scratching the surface. Matt, of course, plying his trade for the Ottawa Senators. And then Jake Guentzel is a guy that's got a long way to go in his career, and he's certainly been dynamic, but doesn't quite match up. I mean, Kaminsky that year had 85 points. We know Sakic and Forsberg had 120 and 116, but Claude Lemieux, 71 points. And a lot of those guys were like Jake Guentzel was, but even at a higher level, in my opinion. They were big-time money players. That's why I went with the 96 Avs.
Look, no one's going to fault you for choosing that club. It was really good. But Sidney Crosby, back-to-back Conn Smythe, one of 3 players ever to do that. All right, so you have the 96 Avs in that meeting. So the next one, this is also a rivalry, okay? Detroit and Chicago, Nick Lidstrom in that vaunted 2002 Red Wing roster against Patrick Kane, a player you love, an American you love.
All right.
2010 Chicago Blackhawks.
All right, let's talk about those 2010 Blackhawks. I mean, what's not to like about that is Chicago got things rolling in a big way as they would go on for a string of championships. And
as close to a dynasty as you're going to find in this era of hockey, in that era of hockey, I would say.
Yeah, I would absolutely say that. And, Jonathan Toews has proven to be an elite player. Obviously, he's not playing this year, but that's okay. Patrick Kane, in my opinion, is as good as anybody that Detroit had way back when. I just think he's that special a player, maybe the best American player ever. He's certainly going to end up with the most points, in my opinion.
Drink it in, Scott Hartnell.
Right, exactly. As you see the winning goal right there, nobody seemed to know that one went in, except for Patrick Kane. Didn't help that it was on the road as well. But that was a pretty special team. There were other guys in that team. I'm looking at rosters here. Andrew Ladd.
Dustin Byfuglien.
Marian Hossa was a guy that I think is a Hall of Fame player.
Yes.
There was a lot. So you got Toews, Kane, Hossa from that team that I believe will be in the Hall of Fame. 3 players. That's pretty good from any team. I still think it
is Corey Crawford a Hall of Famer to you?
I don't think he will be.
Duncan Keith?
Duncan Keith has a chance. He has a chance.
Okay.
Not a for sure Hall of Famer for me, but really strong numbers. He would be the next guy on that list.
I know I'm a Hawk fan, but I feel like that's a no-brainer. But hey, that's not the debate. The debate is which team are you going with?
All right, let's take a peek at Detroit, because that'll give you my answer, and you'll know why.
Yeah, because Hall of Famer here.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right there on the board.
I think
Can we keep going?
Probably have a follow-up graphic to show the other Hall of Famers.
Should we just keep going, or what? I mean, come on. Are you kidding me? That was an incredible team. Stevie Yzerman, he needs no introduction in this discussion, that's for sure.
Yeah, look, 9 Hall of Fame players.
I remember this series like the back of my hand because I was at it. This is a little bit of the dead puck era, if you remember that. There was a lot of concern that there wasn't as much happening offensively, but, you know, Fedorov, you saw Igor Larionov in that clip as well. This was, in my opinion, that's one of the greatest teams ever. Not just that matchup, just ever. So
right.
Chicago Blackhawks got shortchanged on that matchup.
That's a tough draw.
That was a very tough draw. Again, we're in that same window, think 95 through 03, when you literally were dominated by 3 clubs in the National Hockey League, being number 1, Colorado, number 2, Detroit, and they're not in any order, and number 3, the New Jersey Devils, deserve to be in that conversation, obviously, because otherwise Scotty Stevens would punch me really hard in the arm, and I wouldn't like that.
No, it's a hard pass.
Here tonight.
Yeah, and then Dano comes along and finishes you. That's suboptimal.
I'm not worried about Dano. He's a gentle giant.
He said it, Dano. I didn't say it. Last one, lots. Of course, you are very familiar with Tampa Bay.
Yes.
Well, how about we put a couple Bolts bunches head to head for this super team matchup? So Nikita Kucherov and Marty St. Louis, born 18 years apart, like Mahomes and Brady. That was our trigger for this segment. And a part of 2 cup-winning teams in Tampa Bay. But which Bolt group do you like the most?
All right, well, let's take a look at it, because they're both incredible. And this is as personal as we got on this little project that you assigned, Nelly, here to compare these teams and test my knowledge. I didn't like it when you went back to the 1930s. That was out of my range. No, just for the record.
That's our ace.
So I'm glad we peeled it back up to these teams. Okay, Vasilevsky has a chance to be a Hall of Fame goaltender. I think he will be, personally. Victor Hedman, write him down for the Hall of Fame. Steven Stamkos is not on that list, but write him down for the Hall of Fame. Braden Point, too early to tell. Really great start to his career. Nikita Kucherov, I would say yes, because of the accomplishments along with the Stanley Cup, individual and team. That is a really, really strong group. This, to me, reminds me of one of the super teams. I mean, they had that much depth. They had an incredible season a couple of years ago, historic points-wise, did things nobody else has done in a very, very long time. I'm pretty bullish on that team.
And responded to heartbreak.
I'm looking at the totality of it. One game from Stammer doesn't get him in there, but he's a part of that team as much as any other player.
He scored. He had a goal.
He scored.
He scored.
But even if he didn't score, he would have been a part of that team.
Kucherov, 27 assists. Only 2 players in the history of the NHL had more assists.
Gretzky and Lemieux.
Yeah, well, Gretzky did 3. You didn't even let me build this.
Okay, God, sorry.
I mean, just crushing.
I thought it was trivia.
Unbelievable.
Right. Let's try the 04, because it's a little closer to me, having been in Tampa in 08, and, you know, not quite seeing this level of group of guys when I was there. They were going through a rebuilding phase at that time. When I joined Tampa, they had finished dead last in the league before I started. But this was the group that got the job done. And let me tell you what, there were very, very fond memories of these guys in town. I'm sure that was regenerated off of this newest win, and it had to feel good for every one of these guys. But as great as this young man right here was and is as a human being, Marty St. Louis, I'm going to give the edge to the 2020 team. But not because he fell short, or Vinny, or even Brad Richards, because to me, those were the guys, along with Happy Bullen and John Tortorella, who's in the news still all these years later. Yeah. For different reasons. Same reasons, different reasons. I don't know. I love John.
I think that
he's a principled guy.
It's a fun discussion, though, I think. I like this 04-2020 debate. I mean, Brad Richards was incredible.
He was incredible.
7 games.
Richie was an incredible player. I don't think he ever has really gotten his due for what he was able to accomplish. But those 3 players carried the Lightning for a long time. Happy Bullen was a part of that. Ruslan Fedotenko, it wasn't a long run, but it was really notable, the things he did for them at really opportune times. So that was a great team, but I'm sorry. Last year's Stanley Cup winning team is an amazing team. That's one that can compete, I think, over the test of time.
Y'all can chime in as well, okay? So 96 Avs versus 2017 Penguins, 2010 Blackhawks, 2002 Red Wings.
Yeah,
and then
tweet
the Bolts,
us, let us know.
04,
Just the happy
20.
people.